This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach.
Hello, everybody. Let's go ahead and open up that Zoom room and welcome 2026 and welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. We are excited to have you here with us investing in yourself. Well, when you invest time, time is worth money. So we want to make sure that we give you actual information that you can use in your life to help yourself have the best health possible. And I can't think of a better person to help me do that than my friend, Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Now, Pharmacist Ben is absolutely fantastic. He has been in the pharmaceutical world. He's been in the skin world. He's been in the nutraceutical world. And he loves science and breaking things down and letting us know how things work in a way that we, without a totally scientific mind for many of us, can understand. So, Pharmacist Ben, thank you so much for joining us today. How's 2026 going for you?
Oh, it's amazing. This is starting to be the most amazing year ever. I can't believe it. I think it's crazy. I mean, I know it's only the second day, but I think this is going to be an absolutely spectacular year. And you cracked me up when you said science. There used to be a show called Dr. Science. You ever hear about this? And they go, he's not a real doctor. He has a bachelor's degree in science. How is that? That kind of reminded me of that. No, I just like, what is science anyway? What do you mean by science? I like biology. I like nutrition. I like chemistry. I like chemistry as well.
Science.
Yeah, it's a type of science, but everything's kind of scientific. The scientific method is where you hypothesize, test, you get results, and then you feed it back in and do another hypothesis, and you test and feed it back in and do another hypothesis. That's the scientific method, as opposed to superstition, where you just have these vague
Right.
beliefs. So, yeah, AJ says Dr. Science. Did you ever hear that show, Dr. Science? He's not a real doctor. He has a bachelor's degree in science. Anyway, so I like chemistry, and really, it's kind of I kind of take advantage of it a little bit because nobody likes chemistry. So I get to be the guy who works with chemistry. And if you know chemistry, you can do herbs, you can understand herbs, you can understand nutrition, you can understand pharmacy, you can understand cooking, you can understand relationships, just people talking to each other is chemistry. Haven't you ever said, oh, that's good chemistry? Chemistry is just how things go together. And everything in life goes together with things. And so if you understand chemistry, you can be really good at life. So I think chemistry is the most important thing to understand. And I get to take advantage of the fact that I happen to love it, really love it. Like I read it when I'm bored. I read chemistry books and chemistry papers.
It's another science that I absolutely love.
What's that?
And that's the science that gave me hope. There's another science that I love, and that's
Yeah.
epigenetics.
Yeah, epigenetics is very cool too. And the thing about understanding these kinds of things is it takes you away from being manipulated by jargon. It protects you from being manipulated by jargon. And unfortunately, in the world of, there's this kind of awkward relationship between marketing and health. And we're here we have to do marketing, but we also have to do health. And so you got to be really careful that you don't get into too much jargon. And that's the problem. That's what I like. That's why I consider myself, what we do on this program, to be so important, is because we kind of dissolve jargon and get to the real chemistry, that's real science that's underneath it. And that's kind of what we do pretty much on every program. And I think I do it every time I do a podcast or I do an interview, is I'm really trying to get down underneath what most people hear in the world of marketing or commercials or advertising or promotion, and get into the real technology of it, the real science of it. And I think people appreciate that too.
Oh, I personally do. That's for sure. Totally. And I know I'm not the only one. Now, Pharmacist Ben, there's one thing that you have really had a passion for, and that has to do with skin. So let's take the time to talk about collagen and how it affects our skin. And I mean, it affects the skin, the joints, the gut.
No, it affects everything. Your whole body is strung.
It affects everything.
Yeah, your cola means glue in Latin. Collagen is the glue that holds the body together. Some 30% or so of the protein in the body is collagen. Collagen is probably the most abundant protein on the planet. And when we think of collagen, we think of like holding everything together, but collagen also has electrical properties that are really interesting. And in fact, as collagen deteriorates, our body's electricity deteriorates and our coherence deteriorates. Coherence is a really interesting word that you're going to start to hear more and more about. And I absolutely love this word. And coherence, the word coherence sits at the interface between physics and chemistry. Chemistry only works because of physics. And if you think chemistry is overwhelming, physics, and when I say physics, I mean quantum physics, not mechanical physics necessarily, but quantum physics, that's like off the charts overwhelming. And coherence sits at the juncture of chemistry and quantum physics, in the sense that when we are healthy, physiologically healthy, we're coherent, meaning our body's electrical nature is all going in the same direction. Coherence can be thought of like an orchestra, by thinking of an orchestra. Do you ever go to the symphony? At the beginning of the symphony, they're all tuning up and it's all cacophonous and it's all noisy. And then they start playing and it's beautiful music, right?
I was in a symphonic band. I absolutely
You know what I'm talking
that.
about? Yeah. What did you play?
Yes.
What do you play? I didn't realize that.
I played the saxophone, alto saxophone in the symphonic band.
I did not know that. That's really interesting. Awesome. I love the saxophone. So then you know what I'm talking about. At the beginning, they're all tuning up and it's all noisy. And then all of a sudden they start playing and it's beautiful. And what's the difference? When they're tuning up, they're incoherent. And when they're playing music, the music is the sound is incoherent. And then when they're playing their music, the sound is coherent. Coherence gives functionality. And from a musical standpoint, we interpret functionality as beauty. And there is actually a very interesting relationship between functionality and beauty, but that's another story. The point I want to make is it's about coherence. Aging, youthfulness is coherent, aging is incoherent. Health is coherent, disease is incoherent. when our body breaks down, and all the things we hate about our bodies breaking down are all the end result of our body's electrical energy, quantum energy, in becoming incoherent. So what does this have to do with collagen? Collagen is a coherence mechanism. It has electrical properties that allow electrical energy, particularly electrical energy in water, to become coherent. And that improves our body's physiology, functionality, and ultimately our health and our beauty. So in addition to being structurally important, it's also important for electricity. And by electricity, I'm talking about by supporting coherence, by supporting the coherent electrical coherence in the body, quantum. And when we say electrical, it's really quantum. So we'll call it electricity. So all the electricity becomes coherent, just like in a symphony when we have enough collagen. Our collagen breaks down, we lose coherence. You know what that looks like physiologically to the eye when we lose coherence? It looks like blobification, what I call blobification, right? You know, and I like that word, and I know, you know, it sounds interesting, right? But that's basically what happens as we age. We blobify. You know, we go from having lean angles to softer angles, and people freak out. And the medical model has strategies for that. They'll surgically try to duplicate coherence. This is what medicine does. That's why I always tease and I make a joke about doctoring. Doctoring is to commit a fraud. And by that, I mean doctoring has the tools to make it look like we're healthy. That's what a facelift does, for example. Facelift makes your skin look youthful. It's not really youthful. It just gives the appearance of being youthful mechanically. But by building collagen, or if you can figure out a way to prevent the degradation of collagen as we age, you can have a natural facelift that will look real. And that's really what the difference, in a nutshell, one of the main differences between what we talk about in this program and modern medicine. Medicine fabricates and synthesizes beauty. What we're doing is we're stimulating. Medicine simulates, we stimulate. Collagen is important for the structure of the body and for improving electrical coherence in the body. We lose our collagen, we fall apart structurally, and we lose coherence. So building collagen is the very essence of anti-aging. Now, you may have recalled, excuse me just a second here, you may recall I've said before, building connective tissue is the very essence of anti-aging. I hope that's not too gross to drink out of the bottle like that.
Your bottle.
It's my bottle, I know. I had some guy freak out when I did it in the middle of a talk once. So I became self-conscious. Anyway, I've said before, the connective tissue is the very essence of building connective tissue is the very essence of anti-aging. And now I said building collagen is the very essence of anti-aging. So what's that distinction? How do you jibe those two ideas? Collagen is the main protein in connective tissue. Connective tissue is made up of collagen and goo. When I say goo, I'm talking about slime. I call it goo. It's really polysaccharides and proteoglycans, sugars and protein sugar complexes. Okay, that's what makes the combination of protein. I call it goo. And I'll tell you why I call it goo here in a second. The combination of they call protein sugar complexes. They're called proteoglycans. I hesitate to use that word because it's such an awkward word, but that's what it is. Proteoglycan, meaning proteins and sugars. There's protein sugar complexes, and polysaccharides, long chains of sugar. Most famous one for us is fucoid. So polysaccharides are long chains of sugar, and proteoglycans are sugar protein complexes. Together they form the goo that gives connective tissue its kind of hydrated properties, its slimy properties, and connective tissue does have a slimy quality. The collagen acts like fibers in the goo. Now, I'm not a big construction guy or concrete guy, but as I understand it, concrete is made up of sometimes of steel with particles inside. Is that concrete or is that cement? I always get those mixed up.
That's concrete. So concrete.
And it has these, is that what they call rebar, I think, right?
We got the rebar for structure.
Okay, rebar for structure, right? And the combination of the rebar plus the particles in the concrete give the concrete a certain flexibility and hardness. You want to say something?
Well, concrete actually has rocks mixed in with it also.
Yeah, to give it
Your
hardness.
cement is the base.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay, got it. Okay, so does cement have rebar in it too? Steel rebars?
It can, depending on what you're using it for.
Okay, so what's the purpose of having steel plus goo, basically hard goo, is it gives it flexibility that it wouldn't have otherwise. That's what the connective tissue is. The connective tissue is a combination of the collagen, and I call it goo, but it's proteoglycan and polysaccharides. The reason I call it goo is because it interacts with water very effectively to form slime. And that's basically the texture of what's called the connective tissue, aside from the collagen, which is not slimy. That's more like a steel rebar. And it's this combination that gives the body its structure and form. Much more than that, but it also gives the body its structure and form. Now, I call it tissue, and that, again, that's kind of biological, but you want to think of it, to simplify, just call it stuff. The body's made up of 4 kinds of stuff, okay? Tissue, if you will. It has a core, and then it has stuff around it, tissue around it, and then it's electrified. So you got the core, and then the stuff around it is called epithelia, or epithelial tissue, sometimes people say. And then the whole thing is electrified with nervous tissue. It's the core that is the bulk of our bodies. 80% or so, 90% even, is the core, all covered and electrified. Make sense? I call the core the flesh robot. We've talked about this before. And the flesh robot is the stuff you see at the bodies exhibit. If you go to the museum, you know what I'm talking about, the bodies exhibit, where they show you what the body looks like without skin and without neurology, without nervous tissue. It's the core, the flesh robot. That's most of our bodies. That flesh robot, in turn, is made up of 2 other types of stuff. And those 2 types of stuff are wound together so they're intimately connected with each other. And those 2 types of stuff are called muscle tissue and connective tissue. And those are the 4 types of stuff. You get the flesh robot made of muscle tissue and connective tissue, and you've got the whole flesh robot coated with epithelial tissue and electrified with nervous tissue. And those are the 4 types of tissue, the 4 types of stuff. Everything in the body is one of those 4 types of stuff: connective tissue, muscle tissue, epithelial tissue, or and nervous tissue. Okay, so the middle part, the flesh robot's the key to everything. And the key to the flesh robot is the connective tissue. If you want to picture what the connective tissue looks like, how it's related to the muscle tissue, think of a cross section of the flesh robot. Here's the flesh robot, cut a cross section out, pull it out. That's a steak. A steak is the cow, or whatever the animal is, flesh robot sliced in a cross section, and you can see the connective tissue and the muscle tissue interacting with integrated with each other in the steak, right? You have the marbling, and the pink part is the muscle tissue. Most of the time we eat the muscle tissue. As it turns out, the connective tissue's got just as much, if not even more, health benefits than the muscle tissue for eating, and that's the stuff we throw out. Now, if you're a chef or a cook, you know that the muscle tissue actually, or the connective tissue actually gives the muscle tissue flavor, because there's fat, and fat is a type of connective tissue, by the way. And so that flesh robot is the key to everything. And the key to the flesh robot is the connective tissue. Making sure you're strengthening, building the connective tissue and not doing things that degrade the connective tissue is the key to everything. Now, when we talk about the connective tissue, most of us, we think of the structure. And we just talked about how the connective tissue also electrifies and provides coherence. But the connective tissue does something else. And when I say connective tissue, I'm talking about the collagen and the goo. They're basically together. They're not really isolated in the body. They're integrated in the body. The key to the possibly, I don't want to say the most important, but one of the most important things that the connective tissue does is it feeds all of the cells. It functions like a womb. In fact, the connective tissue is sometimes called the connective tissue matrix. Matrix means womb. So in addition to electrifying and providing structure, it also feeds, oxygenates, and detoxifies all of the cells, just like a womb does for a fetus. Womb functions in the same fashion as a fetus. So you can think of the connective tissue as a womb for all of the cells, because all disease is cell disease. Once the connective tissue doesn't do its work, you get sick, because all disease is cell disease, and the cells depend on the connective tissue to be fed, to be oxygenated, to be detoxified, and to be electrified. So you can see that building the connective tissue, and collagen being the key component of the connective tissue, is critical for cell health, it's critical for the structure of the body, and it's critical for electrification and coherence. You can see there's a lot of things that building connective tissue, a lot of roles that connective tissue plays, and a lot of reasons why you want to build connective tissue. By the way, the blood is liquid connective tissue, and the vessels that channel the blood, those are connective tissue too. The heart sits on a framework of connective tissue, and once the connective tissue deteriorates, the heart doesn't function as effectively, and it's very likely that one of the underappreciated or even non-appreciated causes of heart disease is connective tissue deterioration. We focus on the organ, but we don't focus on the support structures. And this is more of this reductionistic perspective that the medical model takes on health and healing and physiology and aging and all the reasons we go to the doctor. We focus on what we see, but we don't focus on the support systems. What we see, the heart or the spleen or the intestine or the lungs, are only going to be as functional as the support systems are healthy. So if you have heart disease and you go to the cardiologist and he focuses on the heart, which is what doctors do, it may be a good idea to focus on the connective tissue that supports the heart or any other organ. Follow what I'm saying? Skin, those of us in the skin business know this well, because it's been drilled into our head, the relevance of connective tissue, although most people still think of the connective tissue or the collagen in the skin as only being there for the structure of the skin. But now we know, if you listen to what I just said, that the connective tissue in the skin is going to help detoxify cells, electrify cells, feed cells, and oxygenate cells as well. So the collagen in the skin is not just important for keeping the structure of the skin intact, but it's also important for the health of all the skin cells. You can see there's a lot of reasons why you want to be building connective tissue, i.e. collagen. Now, before we get into collagen specifically, there is the goo. And while I'm isolating the two, they're really not isolated. They're integrated with each other. And as goes the collagen, so goes the goo, and vice versa. Now, while collagen supplements, which we're going to talk about here in a second, are important, so are goo supplements. And you can use goo supplements like Fucoidin and like hyaluronic acid as nutritional supplements. And they do use Fucoidin and hyaluronic acid as nutritional supplements to help support the goo. Now, importantly, when you take these substances, it's not like they go into your bloodstream and all of a sudden you make your own goo out of the hyaluronic acid. These elements function more as signaling molecules, as does collagen. I'll talk about that here in a sec with collagen. What do I mean by signaling molecules? The body is built, the way the body is structured, it's looking for damage. It's always looking to help, it's always looking to repair damage. What these connective tissue building supplements like hyaluronic acid, like Fucoidin, like collagen, like what are some other connective tissue? Glucosamine. Glucosamine is along the same lines. Glucosamine is one of those molecules that helps form the goo. They tell the body there's damage. I say signaling, when you eat these, when you take hyaluronic acid or glucosamine or collagen supplements, the body sees pieces of collagen or pieces of glucosamine or hyaluronic acid floating in the bloodstream that shouldn't be there. So to the body, that looks like there's damage. Are you with me? It looks like there's been a wound. So what is the body's response to wounding? Growth. So these elements signal, and that's their most important role. Now, if they get broken down enough, you'll get some of the building blocks, the amino acids. Collagen is made up of 3 amino acids. And so you'll get some of those amino acids and they'll go into the liver and they'll form a pool from which you can draw on later. But for the most part, the reason these connective tissue building supplements are important, whether it's collagen or whether it's the proteoglycans or the polysaccharides that form the goo, is because they signal. They tell the body it's time to grow. But that's just one element of this whole collagen building and connective tissue building chemistry. There's other things that have to happen. For example, the cells that make the collagen and the connective tissue, or in the goo, are called fibroblasts. The fibroblasts have to be healthy in order to be able to secrete the collagen. All disease is cell disease, remember. So if the fibroblasts aren't healthy because they're not getting their mighty 90 essential nutrients, you take all the collagen you want, the fibroblasts aren't going to be able to build the connective tissue. They're not going to be able to secrete the connective tissue. It's about the cells. The cells have to be healthy. So it's not just taking collagen. You still need the mighty 90 essential nutrients to make sure that the fibroblasts, which are actually going to be making the collagen in response to the signals, are functional. Another thing that has to happen if you're going to be effectively making collagen is you need cofactors. Remember, the collagen you're taking is not going to be your collagen. The goo you're ingesting is not going to become your goo. They're going to signal. Does that make sense? You follow what I'm saying? There's this connotation that I eat collagen, it goes into my blood, and I get collagen. That's not what happens. It's a signaling effect. You understand what I'm saying? That's why everything has to be appropriate, because you're just signaling. If you don't have the raw materials or the key materials, you're not going to be able to make the collagen just because you have the signals. You can ring the doorbell all you want, but if nobody's home, nobody's answering the door. You follow what I'm saying? So these are just signals. Okay. So the collagen's important and helpful as a signaling molecule, but you still got to have the mighty 90 essential nutrients. In fact, one of the mighty 90 essential nutrients is considered to be the bottleneck, or as we say in chemistry, the rate limiting step in the formation of collagen. The rate limiting step is the step that has to happen in order for everything else to proceed. It's like a bottleneck. The rate limiting step, or the ingredient, the nutrient that represents the rate limiting step in collagen production, is what? You know.
I'm going to say, is it calcium?
No, you know. Oh. Vitamin C.
Well, vitamin C.
Yes.
That was my second guess.
That was your second guess.
The other C.
Vitamin C is the rate limiting step in collagen production. Without vitamin C, you ain't making collagen. In fact, what's the disease caused by vitamin C deficiency? Scurvy.
Beriberi.
No, scurvy.
That's vitamin D.
Scurvy. Beriberi, as I can't. AJ, what's beriberi?
Thiamine.
Vitamin B1.
Thiamine.
Right. So vitamin D would be rickets. Vitamin D deficiency would be rickets. So in any case, vitamin C deficiency disease is called scurvy, and that's when you don't make any collagen. But here's what's really interesting about vitamin C deficiencies. It's on a spectrum. So if you have no vitamin C, you're not making any collagen, but if you have a little vitamin C, you're going to make a little collagen. So vitamin C supplementation becomes critical. And in fact, in my opinion, I haven't heard people say this before, but if you look at the symptoms of scurvy, they align pretty well with the symptoms of aging. And it could very well be that aging is a form of scurvy. And that means that vitamin C could very well be the anti-aging vitamin, in addition to all of the other things that it's important for. And that's because by virtue of its effects on the connective tissue. The connective tissue deteriorates, we fall apart. And all of the things we hate about aging, really about the connective tissue, i.e. collagen and the goo. So building connective tissue is critical, and building collagen is almost synonymous, although collagen is one component of the connective tissue. A second cofactor that's important for the production of collagen, or for effective collagen, is sulfur. Sulfur gives collagen a certain hardness, and sulfur is what gives collagen its strength. And sulfur deficiency is very common because sulfur is found in soils, and sulfur is leached out by acidity and over farming. And so a lot of us are deficient in this very important element, sulfur. And you can take all the collagen peptides you want, signaling, but if you don't have the sulfur, you're not going to be able to strengthen your collagen. So this is all to say that when you're using your collagen peptides, you want to think of them as signaling, but you still need to have all the raw materials to make the collagen, i.e. the vitamin C and the sulfur and the amino acids to make the collagen. And then lastly, you got to make sure that the cells are healthy. One of the most damaging things to cells, as we all know, is sugar. And sugar doesn't only damage cells, but sugar also damages connective tissue via a process called glycation. Sugar reacts with connective tissue and causes it to burn. And in fact, if you're diabetic, you'll have to go every couple of months to get your hemoglobin A1C tested. And that's a measurement of how fast you're sugaring or caramelizing or candying, if you will, to glycating. hemoglobin is a protein, and sugar glycates the hemoglobin, and they measure how much of the hemoglobin is glycating, and by that they can tell how well your blood sugar is being controlled. Cigarette smoke also has a damaging effect on collagen. One of the other underappreciated roles for collagen and the connective tissue is the connective tissue acts like a filter for the blood. You know how we always talk about all disease is cell disease, but all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. One of the ways that the blood cleans itself out is by getting filtered through the connective tissue. And then the connective tissue is susceptible to toxicity and immune attack, and this can result in autoimmunity. And there are lots of autoimmune diseases that affect the connective tissue. The most well-known and maybe the most problematic is rheumatoid arthritis. And this is all caused by the filtering effect of the connective tissue. And this is something that medical folks don't recognize. Medical folks still, the newer ones still, the younger ones understand this, but the older ones still don't see autoimmune disease as having a cause or having a known cause. They'll tell you there's no known cause for these autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune diseases, as I've said for years, and you're going to find out more and more, they're going to be recognizing this, is the end result of the same thing that causes all other health challenges, which is toxicity in the blood. In the case of autoimmunity, the toxicity in the blood gets dumped out into the soft tissue or gets filtered out through the connective tissue. So building, I hope I've made a very solid case here for the importance of building connective tissue. And this is where we come to our new longevity products, the collagen peptides. Or actually, the collagen peptides are not new. The collagen, I think it's the boost, it's the shot that's new. What do they call it?
Shot is the new one. Well, there's more than just the shot, because there was two that I forgot to add to your list.
Okay.
Where we have the Saxy Plus.
Saxy?
Superfruit. Yeah,
okay.
the Saxy Superfoods juice mixed with collagen.
Okay, that has collagen in it.
They put a dose of collagen in there.
Okay, all right.
And then also FucoidZ now. FucoidZ Plus
very good.
comes
Very
with
good.
collagen, which is what I have in here.
And that's a perfect blend.
Me.
That's a perfect blend.
I forgot to share it with you.
Okay, so let's talk about. You want to talk about the what's the new collagen shot called? What's the name of it?
It's called Super Collagen Shots.
Okay, so Super Collagen Shots is a drink of collagen. And collagen liquefied makes it easier for the body to process, first of all. And before you get into the shot, what did you call it again? What was it called?
Super Collagen Shot.
Super Collagen Shot, okay, or the collagen shot, we'll just call it. I should tell you that this is one of the reasons why bone broth is so important. Bone broth and chicken soup are basically liquid connective tissue. You're drinking connective tissue. You can actually see it. Connective tissue, or I said connective tissue organizes liquid, organizes water. And when water is organized, it forms a certain structure. And you can actually see that structure in your chicken soup or in your bone broth. You can kind of see that it looks like water. The broth looks like water, but it has a certain bounce to it, almost like a solidity to it. And that is a form of structure. That's a visible manifestation or demonstration of the structuring of the liquid by the collagen. So the collagen shot is really interesting. First of all, it's liquid, so it's easy for the body to process. It's made up of collagen peptides. Now, there's some confusion around collagen and collagen peptides. Okay, first of all, collagen doesn't survive the digestive tract intact, with the exception of collagen type 2. And let me digress real quick. There's about 28 different types of collagen in the body. And they're all basically the same, but they're vary by the proportions of the way the amino acids are proportioned. Specifically, actually, the peptides are proportioned. So real quick digression here. To simplify things, think of collagen like a long chain of beads, like a necklace, a bead necklace. And then each bead represents an amino acid. And then groups of amino acids or groups of beads are called peptides. Most of the time when we get collagen, we're getting collagen peptides, or sometimes you'll hear the term hydrolyzed collagen. Hydrolyzed collagen describes what's happening to the collagen to make peptides. So they're basically synonymous. Hydrolyzed collagen and collagen peptides, they're basically synonymous terms. There are 28 different types of collagen, and they vary by the proportions of peptides and amino acids, et cetera. But they're all basically the same. some have different hydration properties, different electrical properties, different tensile strength properties. You'll find some in the eyes, some in the skin, some in various tissues of the body. They're all basically the same. If you're a physiologist, you might consider them to be different, but they're all basically the same from a nutritional standpoint. When you eat the collagen, if you eat intact collagen, it's not going to make it past your digestive tract, with the exception of type 2, which does make it through the digestive tract and gets into the lymphatic area in the intestine where your lymph is. None of this getting into the bloodstream. Collagen doesn't make it into the bloodstream, and that's a good thing because it would initiate an immune reaction. You don't want that. So collagen functions as, with the exception of type 2 collagen, it doesn't get through the digestive tract. Type 2 does get through the digestive tract, but even still, they act as signaling molecules to initiate the production of your own collagen. And that's really important to recognize. Collagen signals. It doesn't act like a source of collagen. Although if it gets broken down enough, the amino acids can get used. As I said earlier, they'll get stored in the liver, and the body can use them as a pool. So the most important collagen types, there's 28 of them, but the most important ones are going to be type 1 collagen. That's going to be found in your skin, your tendons, your joints, your ligaments. And that one is very structured and organized. And in physiology, we call it the steel cable. That's the one that acts like steel. Type 2 collagen is also very important. That's more like a shock absorbing collagen. And that one resists compression. It doesn't really have a stretching effect or as much of a strengthening effect like the type 1 collagen does, but it's more important for acting as a shock absorber. And this is the one that is the most well known for its hydration properties. This is the one that's most well known for having an ability to organize and react with water. Type 3 collagen, not quite as important. Type 4 collagen is a minor collagen. The rest of them are smaller collagens. Type 4 collagen is kind of interesting. Type 4 collagen is a sieve. It acts like a filter. That's one of the ones that we talked about earlier that acts like a filter for the blood. But the most common ones are going to be type 1 and type 2. That being said, the collagen shot, the liquid shot, is made of collagen peptides that are derived from all the different forms of collagen. So you get not all of them. There's 19 of them. There's 28 different types of collagen, but the one, the liquid collagen shot comes from 19 different types of collagen. Is that right? I think it's 19, right?
Yeah, there's 19. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 26, 27, and 28. Yes, I was paying attention.
Okay.
I came to learning Roman numerals.
Okay, but those are the collagen it's derived from. Once they become collagen peptides, it doesn't really matter where they're coming from. The types of collagen are only relevant for the whole collagen molecule. The peptides, whether it comes from 1 or 2 or 19 or 18, wherever it comes from, that doesn't really have as much health relevance. What's really relevant is the signaling effect of the collagen peptides. Secondly, what's relevant in the shot is the cofactors. So in the shots, you're going to get vitamin C, right? You're also going to get, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there might be is there whole collagen in there too? I don't know if there's whole collagen in that one or not.
Blend.
Is the collagen blend is made up of peptides, though, right? I'm pretty sure the collagen blend is peptides.
Everything is.
Yeah, it's all peptides.
Well, there's bovine. Yeah.
It's all peptides. It's hydrolyzed and it's peptides. And then there's also hyaluronic acid in the formula. So you're getting a well-rounded connective tissue building supplement with the collagen shots. That's the bottom line. The collagen shots also have, if you use them with you do want to use them with your meals, you'll get better absorption into the intestine if you use them with your meals. And I would throw in some fucoidin or some kind of sulfur amino acid, maybe from eggs or from meat, with them as well. So you make sure you get your sulfur. You could also use your ultimate MSM to get sulfur, or fucoidin for that matter. There's fucoidin also has sulfur in it too. So it's a good idea to use sulfur and vitamin C and take your collagen shots with meals. I think that's all I want to say about, I mean, there's lots more I could say about collagen. Just for folks in the skin business, ingesting collagen on a regular basis is one of the best things you could do for your skin, in addition to the topical strategies for building collagen. And that's really interesting because the skin is on the outside of the body. We can drive collagen synthesis by using things like peels, retinol, topical vitamin C, laser therapy, all of these wound healing strategy or wounding strategies stimulate wound healing, which drive the production of collagen. Also, exercise is another great way to help drive the production of collagen. And in fact, osteoporosis is really a collagen issue, as much as, and vitamin C issue, as much as it's a calcium issue, even though calcium gets all the credit for building strong bones. It's really, osteoporosis is really a manifestation of the degradation of collagen more than it is a calcium issue. And this is why when astronauts go to space, they have to exercise. They could put them on an exercise bike or I don't know, kind of a Rebound or something to kind of exercise their legs, because they found that when astronauts went to space, they would come back, they would have very weak bones. They'd end up with osteoporosis when they came back from space. So now they make them exercise. The exercise drives the production of all the connective tissue, particularly connective tissue protein, which is collagen. And by the way, there's also reticulin and elastin, which are minor proteins that are part of the connective tissue system that are made by fibroblasts. But collagen is the main protein.
So just exercise here on Earth, whether we're in space or not.
Exercise on Earth is absolutely, it's a must. It's a must, yeah. And so for women, especially who are worried about osteoporosis and on, these Boniva drugs, and by the way, the bisphosphonates, these drugs that call like Boniva, Fosamax, there's a few other, I forgot the names of them, but these drugs stop the breakdown of bone. They don't build bone. And stopping the breakdown of collagen is a strategy that sometimes is used in the skincare business. And sometimes you'll hear people saying collagenase inhibitors. Collagenase, ASE means an enzyme. Whenever you hear ACE at the end of a word, it refers to an enzyme. Collagenase inhibition is a strategy that's used in skincare to keep collagen from being broken down. But you want collagen broken down because you want new collagen. So the body's always breaking down collagen and building it up and breaking it down and building it up so that it assures fresh, new, healthy collagen. Breakdown of collagen, as I said earlier, is accelerated by poor lifestyle habits, especially smoking and sugar, which are two of the most important ways that we break down our collagen. And it's two of the most important mechanisms for aging as well. So keeping your sugar down, and making sure that you're not smoking cigarettes are two of the most important things you can do to keep your collagen intact. People don't smoke cigarettes as much, but I still do see people smoking. It's one of the worst things you could do for your connective tissue, for your body in general.
I have a question in regards to sugar.
Yes.
Does it matter if it's white sugar or
No,
the sugar in
it's glucose.
That's fruit?
No, it doesn't matter. It's glucose and fructose. Yeah, glucose and fructose. Doesn't matter where it comes from. Although honey is that's probably the best sweetener there is because it has cofactors in there that help your body use the sugar. But fructose has a spectrum of problems that are separate from glucose. Fructose is especially problematic for the liver. So fruit sugar is not, you got to be careful with fruit sugar as much as you do with any other kind of sugar. And the less sugar we eat, the better off we're going to be. You do need to have a certain amount of glucose, obviously, but the less we ingest, the better off we are.
Okay. Well, Pharmacist Ben, you're sharing a lot of information. We have people with questions. And of course, AJ has the first question.
Yes.
AJ, go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right, Pharmacist Ben. Whenever you talk, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but this is like amazing how our bodies work.
It is. It is amazing. Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. But when you mentioned the
Fibroblast, yeah.
Fibroblast. When you mentioned the fibroblast, I went to Dr. Google and
Yeah.
say, how do I get more fibroblasts?
Well, you don't need more fibroblasts. You want healthy fibroblasts. It's not a question of number of fibroblasts. What did they say? What did Dr. Google say?
Dr. Google says to increase fibroblast production, you can use topical treatments like retinoids and peptides, ingest collagen peptides or vitamin C, or get treatments like microneedling.
Yes.
But that's like a circle, because I'm asking, how do I get something to help me build my collagen, and it's saying ingest collagen?
Because of the signaling. Remember, collagen acts like a signal, like a doorbell.
Okay.
When you take collagen, it rings the doorbell basically that tells the fibroblast to make collagen. So you're ingesting collagen to signal to the fibroblast to make your own collagen.
Okay, but I'm asking, how do I make healthier fibroblasts? And
All
it's
the
saying
all the
vitamin
things you do.
C and collagen.
No. Vitamin C and collagen are important for turning the fibroblasts on. They're not for making the fibroblasts healthy.
Mm.
Do you understand that
So
distinction?
we need the 90 to make the fibroblast.
Bingo.
All right.
All disease is cell disease. And when I say disease, you include aging. Not really disease, obviously, but functionally, that's what happens when we age. Our bodies break down. So keeping the cells healthy is the key to everything. That's the first and foremost. That's why things like collagen peptides and growth factors and other peptides, they're all, and stem cells, sometimes now you're hearing about stem cells and stem cell conditioned media. All of that is secondary. This is really important, because in the world of marketing, and I started off this talk by saying how marketing and health are kind of awkwardly related, and sometimes the interests of marketing are not necessarily interests of health. So in the world of marketing, we're always looking for new and latest and the greatest new ingredient and the newest herb from the rainforest and the newest formulation. But in health, it's all about the cells. And the cells have been around for 3.5 billion years. And in that 3.5 billion years, they have evolved a menu that they need in order to be functional, in order to be healthy, right? And that menu is fixed, and there's no stem cells on the menu. Collagen is not on the menu, and growth factors are not on the menu. What's the menu of a cell? What is the menu that provides the nutrients for a cell, that provides everything a cell needs? The mighty 90 essential nutrients. That's the menu. So the mighty 90 essential nutrients are the primary for everything. That's why they're so important. Nothing else will make the cell healthy. The doorbell is important. You got to ring the doorbell. That's the signaling. You understand what I'm saying? Doorbell, that's the signaling molecule. But if your house is burnt down or broken down, if it's an abandoned home, you can ring the doorbell all you want. Nothing's going to happen. You got to build the house first. Then you put the doorbell in. You build the house with the mighty 90 essential nutrients. The fibroblasts are cells like any other cells. They need vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and fatty acids like any other cell. And until you have all of that, and most of us don't, you're not going to be able to optimize or maximize the effects that you get from the signaling molecules. You follow? There's the signaling molecules, and then there's the raw materials. What do you think is more important?
Raw materials.
Raw materials.
Okay.
Yes.
Pharmacist Ben. So this new product's got 10 grams per shot of this collagen blend.
Yes.
And it's got some C in here, 30 milligrams, and at a hyaluronic acid, it's got 10 milligrams. Now, how much collagen do I need to be ingesting on a daily basis?
You don't need a lot, because you're signaling. Remember, this isn't going in to make your body. This is just a doorbell.
Okay, but
So you only need a small amount.
If I cut my arm,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have more collagen in my blood signaling than than if I'm just walking around normally, right? So
right. You need to have some, but it's not like you need the collagen as a raw material for building collagen. It's not like you need to have a depot of collagen to draw from to build your collagen. You just need to signal it, and then your body will go into the liver and pull out the glycine and and the proline and the valine and the vitamin C, and it'll pull everything together. All you're doing is signaling. You don't need a lot to do that. Milligrams is enough for signaling. Your body's made up, excuse me, if you weigh, say, 200 pounds and your protein is maybe, let's say your protein part of your body, for argument's sake, is 40% or so. So you have 80 pounds of protein in a 200-pound body, and then 30% of that is going to be collagen. You're talking about, 24 pounds of the stuff. You don't necessarily need that much collagen in order to build your collagen.
Okay,
You're
why
signaling.
do I seemingly feel better if I take 2 scoops of this?
Could be a lot of reasons. The peptides could be turned into amino acids. You may be using the amino acids. One of the amino acids that makes collagen is called glycine. Glycine is arguably the most important of all your amino acids. It's the simplest amino acid. It's involved in detoxification. It's involved in the health of the liver. It's involved in the building of connective tissue. So you may be getting more glycine. I don't know the answer to that, why you would feel better. But it's not because of the signaling. It could be the raw material. And there's other things in that collagen peptide formulation, isn't there? It's not just collagen peptides.
There is, but I mean,
you're getting vitamins in there too. You're getting vitamin. Which one were you talking about? I think you're getting vitamin A. You're probably getting vitamin C. You're probably getting calcium, right?
No, not so much in this one. There's more of this fulvic powder, so I'm guessing those are some minerals in there.
The fulvic powder is amazing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the fulvic powder. I use them in skincare. They're amazing. Fulvic powder is basically, we talked about this last week, I think. It's the stuff that is the old plants, when I say old, I mean millions, tens of millions of years old plants that have been compressed into these mines that are located in Utah and Colorado and New Mexico that have all kinds of phytonutrients in them and vitamins in addition to the minerals, and they're all water soluble, and they are electrified, and they improve coherence, the coherence of liquid. They're phenomenally important. And I didn't mention that, by the way. We talked about coherence. Collagen is important for cohering water. The proteoglycans and polysaccharides, the goo, is important for cohering water. And the minerals are important for cohering water. Those are the 3 most important cohering elements, nutritional cohering elements that we want to be using on a regular basis. Collagen, proteoglycans, or goo, and ionic minerals or fulvic minerals.
All right. Well, we have 2 more questions before we end. So Monique says, I just ordered the collagen hair, skin, nails formula. How do the enzymes like bromelain and papain support collagen synthesis?
They don't necessarily.
Yeah,
they don't necessarily support collagen synthesis, but they help you absorb collagen. Collagen being a protein, bromelain and papain and proteases in general help your body. They're enzymes that help the body utilize the proteins that you eat, the collagen that you eat. They're also anti-inflammatory. They're also improved blood circulation. So there's a lot of benefits to them. But anytime you ingest protein, collagen being a protein, proteases will help your body process them. Now, proteases and bromelain, they may break down the collagen if you're taking whole collagen. I'm not sure if there's whole collagen or if it's just collagen peptides in that product, but they may help you break down the collagen into collagen peptides. And I have to look at the formula, but I think there's, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there fish collagen in there? Which is a whole form of collagen.
Double checking on.
I'm pretty sure there's collagen.
Double checking on that, but I think that there is, yes.
I'm pretty sure there's whole collagen in that formula. So the enzymes will support the breakdown of that collagen into collagen peptides.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Monique.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. This is great. This is such helpful information. I love this breakdown. I mean, even for skin, especially because I'm constantly having these conversations. But there's a collagen blend. It has fish collagen and then bovine collagen. So it's type 1 and type 2.
What are you talking about? A longevity product?
In the longevity collagen peptide hair, skin, and nail support.
Okay, so they have fish collagen and bovine collagen.
Yes, and it looks like there's about 5 grams.
Is it collagen or is it collagen peptides?
It just says type 1 collagen.
Okay, so if it's collagen, then the bromelain and the papain are in the formulation probably to break them down into peptides.
Got it.
Collagen is not going to make it into, with the exception of type 2, that's the one collagen that will make it into the intestine. Most collagen is not going to make it into your intestine intact. It has to be broken down into peptides. Of course, you need enzymes, and many of us don't make enough enzymes. Or also, another thing is acid. The enzymes that help turn collagen into collagen peptides require low pH. So if you're not making enough stomach acid, and a lot of people aren't, you're not going to be able to activate the enzymes. And in turn, you're not going to break down your collagen into peptides. And you're not going to necessarily get the benefits. So while you're using your collagen peptides, hair, skin, and nail support, that's why I say take them with food. That will tend to improve the acidification of the stomach contents and then improve the body's ability to break that collagen down into collagen peptides.
That's great. Thank you.
They are in peptide form, by the way.
They are already in peptide form?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, I do know that some of the collagen in some of the products does not say peptides following it. But my question, and we've got 2 more questions after this. Does it make a difference if you mix these collagens that are in powder form, you mix it with water? Does it make a difference if it's cold water or hot water?
No, they'll dissolve better in hot water. You don't want boiling hot water. You might denature it. You might break them down. No, it shouldn't matter. I would use warm water or hot water if you want to use cold water. They won't dissolve. It won't dissolve as effectively in cold water.
Well, the one thing that I do love about the collagen peptides is there's no flavor to it. I've had other collagens that one stink.
Yeah.
And then trying to drink it while you smell
You know what
it.
the stink is? You know what the stink is, right? Sulfur. Collagen is in a lot of collagen has sulfur in it. Collagen and sulfur go together, and that does have a stinky kind of quality to it. I'm not sure why these collagen peptides don't stink. Maybe they don't have the sulfur in there.
I'm just thankful. I'm thankful. So let's go to the next question. And Yasina, go ahead and unmute yourself. What question do you have for Pharmacist Ben today?
Thank you. I do have a question. I started on the what is it called? It's called the Heart Pack. Excuse me, Brain and Heart Pack. I'm on the 2nd bottle of the Tangerine.
Okay.
My question is, I suffer from ringing in the ears, both ears, buzzing, whooshing, lightheadedness, especially when I'm looking down. I work on the computer all day, so I mean I have to take breaks because otherwise I do feel lightheaded.
Are you a
I
coffee
feel
drinker? Are you a coffee drinker?
No, I don't. I don't drink caffeine. I don't smoke or drink. I try to eat clean, home cooked meals. I do feel better once I started on this vitamins and minerals. I do feel better, but I'm not there yet, and I don't know.
Give it some time, first of all. Second of all, do you notice that when you bend down to pick something up or touch your toes or something and then stand up, you get dizzy or woozy or the vertigo?
Yes.
Okay, so all of those are signs of adrenal duress. Your adrenal glands are your stress glands. They also make female hormones, particularly after menopause. So if you're postmenopausal, are you post or peri?
Yes, I am.
Right.
Yes,
So
I do have the symptoms of that as well.
Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to be supporting your adrenal glands. Now you can't necessarily support the adrenal glands directly, although there's a few things you could do, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But the most important things you could do for the adrenal glands is keep your blood sugar stable and support digestive health and oxygenate. And in fact, you may notice that if you practice slow, and it's very important that it's slow, deep, by deep I mean diaphragmatic, where you activate the diaphragm, breathing before you stand up from a seated position or before you move your posture, change your posture, that you don't have that, or it's significantly less dizziness or wooziness. So you might want to try that, okay? Oxygenation. Okay. And then there are things that you could do directly for the adrenal glands. And a couple of them include vitamin C, the B complex, particularly vitamin B5, and iodine.
Is that in the pack? Is that in the pack that I'm taking?
You probably want to take extra on those. They're not necessarily designed for folks who have adrenal issues. Another issue with the adrenal glands and with this, what you're experiencing is something called postural hypotension. And that's where your blood pressure drops when you change posture. See, when you change posture from even just turning your head or standing up, bending down, those are all postural changes. There's an incredible amount of complex chemistry that happens to change the way blood flows through your body. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean,
Yes.
the way blood is shunted through the body involves a whole bunch. I mean, not I say a whole bunch, but really an infinite amount of opening and closing. Can you imagine all the opening and closings that have to happen in order for blood to get directed the right way? That's all controlled by the adrenal glands. When your adrenal, and to a certain extent the kidneys. And by the way, adrenal means on top of the kidneys. There's a connection between the renal system and the adrenal system. They both are very important for blood. They're probably the two most important systems for blood pressure control. And so when your blood pressure is not being controlled properly, when you change posture, you're going to experience the effects of blood that's not being shunted correctly. And one of the signs is dizziness or wooziness. Make sense? You follow me? So it sounds to me like a combination of a circulatory problem and a adrenal problem. Now, postmenopause, the adrenal glands are going to bear a lot of the burden for steroid hormone synthesis because now you're not making them in your female reproductive system, you're making them in the adrenal glands. So that puts an added stress on the adrenal system. So it becomes really, really important postmenopause or perimenopause that you focus on adrenal health. And as I say, blood sugar and digestion are probably the two most important things you could do for the adrenal glands. Oxygenation is very important for the adrenal glands. There are nutrients that are important for the adrenal glands. And then lastly, but maybe as important as everything else, is the adrenal glands or your stress glands. And there's a very important relationship between mental stress, psychological stress, and physiologic stress. The adrenal glands are going to respond to mental and emotional stress the same way they'll respond to physiologic stress. So to your adrenal glands, it doesn't matter if your stress is, your bills or your family or your job or whatever it is, as opposed to a real lion or tiger or bear. So working on psychological and emotional stresses as well as physiologic stresses is also important for adrenal health. And the fastest way to hack into adrenal health or stress management is oxygenation.
Okay. And that was the breathing method, correct?
Yes,
Breathing.
try it, experiment. The next time you, experience postural hypotension, that is, and this dizziness is a hypotension phenomena. It's a low blood pressure phenomena. So the next time that happens, try practicing some breathing techniques and then move and see if you notice a difference.
I also take 50 milligrams of losartan.
Well, that's not gonna, that's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help the adrenal system, losartan.
Okay.
But that's between you and your doctor. What did you have a diagnosis, a heart disease diagnosis or blood pressure diagnosis?
No, it all started when I started having menopausal symptoms. It all
Yeah.
started the anxiety, the
Yeah.
blood pressure going up.
That could be that could be because of the adrenal issues. Like I say, postmenopause or perimenopause, during menopause, your adrenal glands are going to start working harder. So if you already have some adrenal issues and now you're going to menopause, that could put a burden on an excess burden on the adrenal system.
Is there any supplements that I can take to support my adrenal glands?
There's not. I don't have any single supplements. I think we have a product called De-Stress. But
yeah, we have de-stress, and we also have adrenal support in the Good Herbs line.
Yeah, you might want to use those. The most important nutrients, as I said, are the B complex, particularly vitamin B5, vitamin C, and iodine. And then you can also use the De-Stress or the adrenal support supplement. I think, is that the Stay Natural? Is that Laura Dennison's product?
No, the adrenal support is in the Good Herbs tincture line. Okay.
Yeah, those are two adrenal supplements, but the B complex, especially B5, iodine, and vitamin C are the three most important direct adrenal nutrients. But it's really hard to work on the adrenal glands directly, aside from using those supplements, which are not just only for the adrenals, they're important for everything. But you can work on the adrenal glands by working on the blood sugar system and the digestive system. And I don't know if you're new or not, but we talk about something we call the triangle of disease. And the triangle of disease are the 3 points of bodily breakdown that underlie everything else. And those 3 points are the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and the adrenal thyroid complex. And you haven't mentioned this, but there's a very good chance that you're hypothyroid as well with all the stuff that's going on with your adrenal glands.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Yesenia. Thank you.
Yes, and everybody, you can go to triangleofdisease.com and find more information out about the whole 3 points when it comes to the triangle of disease. So thank you so much for that, Pharmacist Ben. And as we have the co-hosts come on the screen with us today, one final question, and it's coming from Barbara. She says, so it seems it doesn't do any good to take extra collagen peptides. Is that correct? And this is a
What do you
great
mean by
question
extra?
because
What
I
is
mean,
extra? I don't know what extra means.
well, I'm putting collagen peptides in my coffee because I loved the collagen in there. I'm putting it, I'm drinking it with my FucoidZ. Just adding extra things.
I would take
Like if
more
have
rather. I
people-
don't know what you mean by extra, but I would take more rather than less if I had a choice,
Okay.
you know, but I don't know what extra
Beautiful.
means. Yeah. I don't know exactly what qualifies as extra, but as an insurance policy, it's better to have more than less.
Got it. Good. I love taking more. So it all tastes great and I feel good taking it. And AJ, do you have one more question?
I kind of think you shortchanged Yesenia a bit
How so?
because you didn't really tell her that she's got leaky gut and dirty blood.
Well, I say it all the time. I get sick of saying the same thing, but
Yeah,
yes.
but she's clearly a newer person.
All right. Yes. Leaky gut. Well, you should say it, leaky gut and dirty blood. Yeah. So, I know we say it all the time, and I always feel sometimes I
She
feel
can call us, but I mean,
call us.
she's got
The whole blood thing is very important because all disease is cell disease, and all cell disease begins with dirty blood. So cleaning the blood is very important. That's where glycation and sugar come in. Sugar is a blood toxin, so to speak. You need some. It's hard to say it's a toxin because you need some, but it can have negative effects. It can thicken the blood. It can be inflammatory for the blood. And of course, toxicity that enters in through a leaky gut can also be create thickening of the blood. So it's this hypercoagulable blood that impedes circulation that is behind all of these health challenges. And yes, you're right. I didn't go into the details of it, but it is a leaky gut and sugar phenomenon. Yes, that's true. Did you mean to embarrass me? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what
I hope you're not embarrassed because I actually have some pictures I drummed up.
Okay. Do you have them? You have them up now?
No, I don't.
Okay. So put them on next. Put them on Monday when we talk Monday.
We're doing Monday. You look real muscular in one of them.
I do. Is it AI muscles?
We'll find out Monday. Were we on 9 or 10 on Monday? Do you know?
9.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you, Monique. I'll see you in half an hour.
All right.
Will do.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for being here with us on Daily with Doc and Becca, and especially thank you to Pharmacist Ben Fuchs for taking time out of his busy schedule. And I am super thankful for my co-hosts as they take time from their families and their schedules to help us put this program together for you. So thank you so much, AJ. Excuse me. Thank you, AJ, for helping us get all the streams set up and ready to go. Albert, thank you for letting people in, monitoring the chat. Just greatly appreciate each and every one of you as we are working on a skeleton crew today. And Monique, thank you so much for being part of our co-host team as well. Folks, if somebody referred you to this program, they are your #1 contact. Get back with them if you have any questions or want to get any of the products that are mentioned on this program. Chances are they are part of the longevity family as a distributor or a health coach or even a certified holistic health coach. And they cared enough about you to share this program with you. So show them gratitude. I think 2026 would be a year of gratitude all the way around. where we need to not overlook the power of saying thank you and getting back with people and even showing our gratitude towards people in more than just words when they have helped us by taking time, because time is money. But anyways, thank you so much, everybody. I am really looking forward to 2026. We're also going to be having some guests that we have not had on the show before, and also some ones that we had last year becoming more regular, which I'm super excited about. You know, this program is a resource for an amazing community, and I just want to do a shout out to that community as you are taking time to learn more about how the body works and also what we can do nutritionally to support the body. So if you have even a little bit of interest in helping yourself, your family, your community, there is a place for you in this family. Again, get back with the person that shared this program with you. And if there's no one to thank, you found us on your own, you're not already involved in the longevity family, by taking products or working with somebody, we do have a call team standing by at 855-949-3377. Again, 855-949-3377. This program is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, where you can find more information, including links to our previous programming. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter so you don't miss a show, and you can get more information delivered right to your inbox. So until next time, my name is Becca Dukes, and as a certified holistic health coach, certified naturopathic practitioner, and also the Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health. Have a fantastic day. And if you want more information about becoming a certified holistic health coach, go to coach.dailywithdoc.com. Again, that's coach.dailywithdoc.com. Until next time, bye for now.
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach.